Hesitation. It's a word I've learnt not to use during my driving lessons. Why? Well, whenever I use it, my pupils' driving quality seems to take a nosedive along with their safety. So in this video, I'm going to explain exactly what hesitation is on the driving test in Great Britain, but also I'm going to explain what hesitation actually is in reality and what you can do to be confident in your decisions and judgment. The official definition for undue hesitation on the driving test is this, word for word: for being overcautious by stopping or waiting when it is safe and normal to proceed. So essentially, you'll get marked for undue hesitation on the driving test if you give way when it's unnecessary for you to give way, when it's causing more of a problem than helping. Usually it's at junctions, but not always. And in my experience, the most common cause of undue hesitation on the driving test is at mini roundabouts, when you're waiting for traffic from the right, when traffic comes around the roundabout and blocks them off, and you don't use the traffic coming round as an opportunity to go. This is known as taking your shield or taking your blocker. Shields and blockers are the same thing, just different words for the same thing. If you don't know how mini roundabouts work, I'll leave a link up there to a video all about mini roundabouts. Whether or not you get marked a minor, a serious or a dangerous, well, that depends on the severity of your undue hesitation. Driving examiners are not expecting you to be a seasoned driver. They're not expecting you to take difficult opportunities at junctions. They're expecting you to take the easy ones. So if you get to a roundabout and you miss an easy opportunity, that may be a minor mark for undue hesitation. If you continue to miss many easy opportunities throughout the driving test, then that can become a serious mark. Or if you miss many easy opportunities at one junction, that can also become a serious mark. It's unlikely you're going to get a dangerous mark for undue hesitation, because if you're giving way when you don't need to, that's not likely going to be dangerous. Now, you could cause somebody else to drive dangerously. They might go, "Oh, I've had enough of this, I'm not waiting," and they dangerously drive around you. That's not you being dangerous. For you to get a dangerous mark, you have to be causing actual danger, not somebody else acting dangerously because of you. However, if you're driving in a way which is provoking other drivers to drive dangerously, for example, you're driving grossly too slow for the conditions and people are dangerously overtaking you as a result, that can be a serious mark. And just like a dangerous mark, a serious mark is also a driving test fail. So that's hesitation on the driving test. But what is hesitation in reality? Well, hesitation is when you're about to do something and then you pause and think before you do it. For example, you're about to say something and just before you pause and you think, is this really a good idea to say that, or is this going to get me into trouble? And then you may reassess what you are about to say. Or you are about to do something and just before you do it, you pause and think, is this really a good idea? Hesitation keeps us out of trouble. It keeps us safe. It's a good instinct. Once we start to ignore it, it gets us into trouble. Hesitation helps us when we're driving. We're driving down the road and a car is reversing out of a driveway, and we're not sure if that car is going to notice us and give way to us. What do? We give way to it just in case. Or we get to a roundabout, someone is coming around the roundabout, they're not signalling, and their position and speed is not clear as to whether or not they're going to come round or leave. So we're not sure whether or not we should give way. So what do? Well, we give way just in case. The highway code actually does say that you don't have the right of way. It only advises when you should give way. And if somebody else isn't giving way to you and they should, well, you should avoid a collision. You should hesitate if you're not sure. Once someone is driving with the attitude of trying to avoid hesitation, this happens. They're driving down the road, they see a car reversing out of a driveway, they're not sure if that car is going to notice them or stop. What do? They carry on and hope things are going to be okay. They get to a roundabout, see a car coming around the roundabout, they're not sure if they need to give way to that car. So what do? Instead of waiting, they carry on and hope for the best and see what happens. So when you're trying to avoid being hesitant, driving tends to become unsafe. What a good driving instructor is trying to do is get their pupil to listen to their judgment and develop their own judgment. And if they're not sure, they should wait to be safe. The saying is, if you don't know, don't go. You could argue that is hesitancy, but that's good. That is helping them be safe. It's not, if you don't know, carry on. That would be unsafe. The trouble is that we call it hesitancy. On the DL25 driving test report form, if you miss an opportunity, that's easy, you get marked for undue hesitancy. You hear that, you know what the word hesitant means, so you try to drive in a manner which avoids hesitancy, which means essentially you go when you're not sure. So it shouldn't say undue hesitation, in my opinion. I think that causes a lot of harm, a lot more harm than good. It should say missed opportunities. That may help people who do fail for missing opportunities when they continue their driving lessons, continue to learn. They're not going to be thinking like, I can't wait when I'm not sure. They're going to be trying to develop their opportunity taking skills. Instead of staring right at a mini roundabout and missing all the shields and blockers, they start looking for shields and blockers. And if they're struggling to judge speed and distance of approaching cars, well, that means they're not ready yet. That means they need more practice to develop their judgment skills, not that they should go when they're unsure. If you're struggling with hesitancy at the moment, I'm going to guess you're probably working on the wrong thing. I'm guessing you're working on how hesitant you are or how cautious you are. And you may be getting frustrated because you may be waiting at a junction and then your instructor is telling you you're being overcautious. Or you may be going at a junction and your instructor is telling you, oh, you shouldn't have gone then. That was a bit unsafe. And you're thinking, what do they want me to do? How can I win? And if you failed your driving test for undue hesitancy, that's even worse because now you're nervous about your test, meaning you're afraid to give way when you feel like you need to. When I get a pupil who's struggling with this, I tend to get rid of the H word. I don't like to use hesitancy. And I say to them, let's ignore that for now. Let's just throw that out the window. And what I want you to do is show me what you think you should do. Deep down, your gut feeling when you get to a junction, if you think you should stop, stop. And if you think you should go, go. Show me what your own true judgment is without second guessing yourself and without trying to judge what you think your driving instructor wants you to do, or maybe your driving examiner wants you to do. When I get my pupils to do this, often their driving becomes safe. They are no longer taking opportunities that are unsafe. They become more consistent. Yes, they may be needing large opportunities, but with practice and time, the opportunity size they need gradually shrinks as they get better at judging, because now they can focus for themselves on their own judgment. They can look at the traffic coming and try and learn whether or not they got time. Yes, they'll wait when they don't need to, but that's how they learn. So next time they have a better idea, and again next time an even better idea, and over time their judgment skills improve. Whereas if I'm sitting in the passenger seat telling them whether or not they should go and whether or not they should wait, what's happening now is they're trying to judge whether or not they should go based on their judgment of the situation, but also based on whether or not they think their driving instructor is going to agree or disagree. Now, this doesn't mean that I don't take control when needed. If my pupil goes to move out when it's unsafe, then of course I'm going to stop them. But this rarely happens because generally they're being safe. When I'm trying to help my pupils improve their decision-making skills, I'm not telling them when to stop and when to go. What I am doing is asking them questions to try and provoke what they need to be thinking about. So let's say there's a blue car coming. I may say, what about that blue car? Do you think you've got time to move out, or do you think that'll be unsafe? What about that white car? You see they're indicating to leave the roundabout. Maybe if they're leaving, maybe you have time to go. Oh, I see that silver car. They're really far. What do you think about this one? I'm trying to get them to make their own decisions, but also I'm trying to prompt them to look at what they need to be looking at to make their decision. For example, at a mini roundabout, oh yeah, you're looking for that blue car on the right, but what about this red car who's about to come round and block that blue car off? Helping them with their own judgment, not telling them when to stop and when to go. In the early days of doing this job, and I've been doing it for over 15 years now, I remember having this pupil who didn't like to go at junctions unless it was pretty much completely clear. And I remember having a conversation with her and saying, you're being too hesitant. You're not going to pass the driving test if you're this hesitant. You need to learn how to take smaller opportunities. In hindsight, I wasn't helping her. That wasn't helping her. That was just causing her stress and putting her under pressure. And I remember this one specific occasion at Tesco Hive roundabout in Colchester, where we're waiting at the giveaway line. Loads of cars are coming around the roundabout, but they're not coming all the way around. We don't need to wait for them. They're leaving the roundabout and we can go. She's missing many opportunities. And I'm saying to her, look, that red car's leaving, we can go. That blue car's leaving, we can go. Come on, we need to go. We need to go. That silver car, see, that's our opportunity. Let's go. And she just stopped and shouted, not helping. And she's right. That woke me up. That made me think, I'm not helping her, am I? She's paying me to help her and I'm not. I don't know how to help her. I didn't know at the time what I could do, but what it did do was made me think. And in my own time, I thought, how can I actually help her get better at judging when she should go? I find telling my pupils that they are being hesitant or trying to get them to take opportunities that are smaller than they can currently handle rarely seems to help them. Usually it makes them worse, not better. What I find does help is trying to help them develop their own decisions. And I do this by taking them on routes where there's plenty of opportunities for them to practice. So not driving down a road for 20 minutes without a junction. Junction, a little bit of driving, another junction, plenty of junctions. And when we're waiting at that junction, I will stop them if they go when it's unsafe, but I'm not telling them when to go. What I am doing is I'm talking about the traffic that's coming to try and direct their focus and help them make their own decision. Also, the route needs to be at the correct level of difficulty. So if this is easy for them and this is too hard and causes them stress, I get them a bit above easy and then gradually build them up as they get better. Earlier I said in this video, if I get my pupil to just focus on their gut feeling, stop when they think they need to stop, go when they think they need to go, they don't usually go if it's unsafe. Yes, they may wait when they could have gone because they need bigger opportunities because they're inexperienced and it takes time to take smaller and smaller opportunities, but rarely do they pull out when it's unsafe. They're generally safe, but every so often they're not. Firstly, I need to determine, is this a one-off mistake or is this their general driving? Usually it's obvious before they even get to the junction that it is their general driving or if it's just a one-off mistake, because I can tell based on their general attitude. And that's what I need to work on if they are generally pulling out when it's unsafe, when they're doing it multiple times or they're making me worried that they are about to do it. Practicing judgment here is not going to work because it's not a judgment problem, it's an attitude problem. I have to talk to them and find out why they're making their decisions. What are their priorities? Are they worried about cars behind? Are they worried about stopping to give way to find out actually I didn't need to? Or their previous instructor has told them they're being hesitant, or they failed their driving test for undue hesitancy, so they feel like they can't give way if they're not sure, or their friend has told them they can't be hesitant. I've got to find out first how they are thinking, what is their priorities, and help them understand that if they're not sure, they should wait. Only go when they're absolutely certain. When they start driving like that, when that is their attitude, when that is their priority, that's when they start being safe and then they can improve their decision-making skills. So if you want to improve your decision-making skills and be less hesitant, I recommend not thinking about how hesitant you are. Don't think about whether or not you're being overcautious or undercautious. Just go with your gut feeling and only go when you're absolutely sure it's safe. Because if you do that, you will be safe and you will get to practice again and again and again, and gradually your decision-making skills and your judgment will improve. Don't try and second guess yourself based on what you think the person next to you wants to do, because that way you'll just be confused and that will prevent you developing your own judgment. And if you are feeling slightly hesitant about something, it's probably better to listen to it because it may well keep you safe. Well, if you found the video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're looking for car insurance, check out the links to Collingwood and Confused in the description. If you're learning to drive and want to insure yourself on somebody else's car, then Collingwood are there for you because you can do so without affecting the owner's policy. And that takes away a big stress from the owner of that car that you're using to practice your driving in. Via the link at the moment, there's up to 35% off and a £20 Amazon gift card. If you want to insure your own car, I recommend checking out the link to confused.com because you fill out one quote form and get loads of quotes back from many insurers to compare who's cheapest. And you can change your car on that quote as many times as you like without having to do the whole quote again. So it's a quick and easy way to compare how much it costs to insure different cars. Using the links doesn't cost you anything, but it does support the channel. So thank you very much. Subscribe to get my future videos. And until the next one, cheerio.